Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome for the Bound for Glory review. Oh, damn, baby. We got something here tonight. Well, actually today. But that night was very interesting. The first thing I'm going to say is I'm actually kind of disappointed about the pre-show. Unlike WWE, where they always try to get their people all set up for something, try to do a lot of backstage stuff, try to set up the feel of the show by showing a whole bunch of backstage pre-tapes. But this is the first time that TNA got their Hall of Fame done. I would have liked it that their Hall of Fame would have been more than just a few seconds of clips, and then the rest of it is trying to put everyone over. I would have liked to see the Hall of Fame. I would have liked to see Lex Luger. I would have liked to see Hulk Hogan talk. I would have liked to see Dixie Carter talk. And then Sting. Sting should have been able to talk more than a minute or two. I wanted that, honestly. But they didn't do that. They made it extremely short, maybe less than 5 to 8 minutes. Well, actually, maybe 10 minutes. They compressed it all down to each one giving a little bit of information. I would have liked that 30 minutes of that pre-show was the entire Hall of Fame, if they didn't make it that long. Let Lex Luger talk about how Sting was influential in his life. Let Sting talk about Hogan, how he met him. More than just a few seconds. Let Dixie Carter talk. You can say a lot about these people, and you don't like to hear much about them, but dude, this is their first Hall of Fame. They should have left it open for Sting. And I didn't feel that. So that was low points for me, at least when it came to the Hall of Fame. I would have liked it longer. But let's go into the show, which is really action-packed. This was so wild, how this show started, middle, and end, that let's just get into it. First thing, as in my prediction, I said that RVD was going up against Zema Ion. I figured maybe they may allow Zema Ion to win this, but I felt that if RVD won this, I wouldn't have a problem with it, which he did. I'm actually kind of glad about it because, as the Off the Rope show said it, and as the British Fist, I've seen both their videos. Boys, you did good. Slug Daddy, you cracking your ass up was damn funny, man. But I understand exactly why you got cracked up later in the show, and I'll explain that. But both of them basically said similar. It's not bad that RVD got the belt. It'll be now prominently featured. Zema Ion really wasn't seen much at all for the last couple of months, especially after Destination X. He's been barely seen. They didn't build this very much, but still, this is still also good for Zema Ion. He can have another couple of matches with RVD, which could be in a pay-per-view, or it can be on TV. It won't hurt the X Division that much as long as it's being seen. This is the question. Will they let Rob Van Dam carry that strap and let it be prominently featured like the television title would be prominently featured when it was with Devon? I'll get to that later. But let's get to the next match, which I actually thought might be my second. I kind of switched it with my fourth. The TV title, Samoa Joe against Magnus. I actually thought about making the second, but I thought, no, they wouldn't be putting this too low on the card, but they actually did. I actually kind of sad about that because it could have gone third on the card. It was that good. The Samoa Joe Magnus match was very good. I do agree with the Slug Daddy that it would have been better they let Magnus have more of an offense into it. He was mainly doing defense. Magnus is a decent wrestler. He can tell a decent story. But they didn't let him do this. Not saying the match was bad at all. Even for what he did, what little offense he did very good defense. The match was great. Samoa Joe got him into the rear naked choke. We all knew Samoa Joe was going to win this, and I'm actually very happy about it because Samoa Joe honestly deserved this position. He had been shitted on for at least 3 to 4 years, particularly last year. So I'm glad this happened. What I don't get, and I agree with the Slug Daddy, and I agree with Mr. Parkin, why did they put the street fight third in the card? It should have been 6th in the card, or 5th in the card. That would have been better. 5th or 6th would have been way better than what they had there. And I don't get it. I don't. The street fight was great. King Mo really didn't have any interaction at all. Just watching his actions and reactions was all they allowed him to do. Next to trying to protect Earl Hebner. Was it Earl Hebner or Mike Stickle? Whoever it was that was the ref, I'm not even going to worry about the ref. They didn't even need a ref. The street fight thing, they didn't need a ref. King Mo, just like the Slug Daddy said it, could have been the ref. But yes, because he really doesn't know how to do that, or he didn't want to do it, or they felt that he shouldn't have done it, they just left him there. I think maybe they left him there to get a good idea of what he's going to be dealing with, because I did see MMA Uncensored, where he was with Batista, that was many weeks ago, and saying that he's going to try and do both. He's going to do MMA, and he's going to be doing basic professional wrestling in TNA. So maybe they just wanted him to get a good idea of what he's about to get himself into, close and firsthand. I said in my predictions review that it's a possibility that if King Mo interfered in the match enough that there wouldn't be a clean victory, he would then go off and face one of them. Because King Mo did stop Robert Roode from beating up on the ref, and then King Mo did shove him, and then basically James Storm did try to get a pin on him, it didn't work. It's a good possibility that now both of these two are going to break off after this. There's a possibility it won't end yet, but if it does, King Mo would have a good opportunity to start with a Robert Roode. If King Mo is going to be now put on the roster, even if it's limited, this would be the perfect reason, because Robert Roode could say, King Mo is the one who messed me up. I messed up after that. This would be the perfect way to start it, if it was going to go down that way. The blood, this was a damn good fight. The thumbtacks, it made me think of the hardcore match between Mick Foley and Randy Orton. You can say a lot about Randy Orton, but that match, especially when it came to the shock in his face, seeing how he reacted when he got hit, when he tried to do RKO on Mick Foley threw him away, and he landed on an attack. That made me think of it when Robert Roode was given a Hurricanrana. No, it wasn't given a Hurricanrana. When he basically was thrown back and landed on those tacks. And then when James Storm did a flying elbow on there, that just made it even more sweet. This was such a great match, and I also wish to say that the Phoenix crowd was so into this. But there was a problem. The Phoenix crowd had been built up a little bit with Rob Van Dam. Let's say it was out of 100%, 10% up. They were up. By the time of Samoa Joe, maybe 20% to 25%. People were pretty pumped for that one. By this time, there was 60%. They were so heavily pumped up, they looked like they were about to burst. And then when we got the triple threat between Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Chavo Guerrero, Hernandez, and the tag team champions of Kazarian and Daniels, damn good match. This could have been this is one of my two best matches of the night. I mean, I'm going to say the street fight was that damn good. It's number one. But the second match of the night is tied with another one, which I'm going to talk about later. But essentially speaking, this is tied for second match of the night. That's how good it was. And I did say in my predictions that I felt that Chavo and Hernandez are being groomed for it. They were going to probably get it. If not, they were going to get it later in the next couple of months. They got it, just like I said. And the part that I agree with Slug Daddy, before every match, they had some type of backstage live segment to give these people more feeling for it. And it felt more personal. I liked it. And I've always said this before, I'll say it again. Even though they let Jeremy Borash do the job before the match, let Christy Hemme for the tag team championship belt, which she did, let her interview these people. She didn't do it for Samoa Joe, and that was upsetting. And she didn't do it for RVD. It could have been done. I know it sounds like it would be a little too much, saying Christy Hemme doing a whole bunch of these after matches, basically after matches interview. Yes, it could have been more than one. Christy Hemme will give a more of depth to the beginning, to the middle, and the end of these championship matches. That's why I'm very happy that when Chavo and Hernandez, well, Chavo did all the talking, he gave props to his uncle, Eddie, I love you, that's what he said, which was really, the people there were very into it, especially that the Guerrero family, I don't believe they're from Houston, Phoenix, but I know they're somewhere near the area, not far from there. I think they're from Texas, I'm not sure. I'm just blanking on where. But it's near that vicinity, so it really made sense for this to happen. And I loved the match. It was that good. It's second in line. The first one is the street fight. That's how good it was. But this is second match of the night contender between the one and another. Now, the Joey Ryan and Al Snow match, that was a good match. I felt at first, seeing how Al Snow was, I knew that Al Snow still could probably go in the ring. And I have heard that Al Snow still works with most of the talent, training them, which is good. For a man who's almost 50, really not bad shape. He did pretty good. And by the end of the match, I'm thinking, oh damn, Joey Ryan's not going to get this. They cannot do this. It's got to be a swerve. And there was. Matt Morgan. I was completely blown away. I did not expect Matt Morgan to be there. I do remember that when it came to Pritchard and it came to Dino Brown, when they were talking about Matt Morgan, I didn't expect that to happen. And he came in and totally flattened Al Snow. So the question is now, is Al Snow going to have a match with Matt Morgan? It would actually make sense in a good storyline. Let Al Snow, who doesn't really get in the ring anymore, but really help Matt Morgan get some heel heat. Let him get higher up, because what happened with him in Crimson was crap. We expected more from that. Now this is a chance to rebuild Matt Morgan, and please, I didn't forget what happened with Joey Ryan grabbing the leg of Matt Morgan as he says, I'm bringing Sleazy back to wrestling, baby. Sleazy, porn, he was just sucking them off, baby. That's why he shook his head. No, he didn't really do that, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't suck him. But essentially it felt like that. So it's a possibility, two things. One, Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan are now going to be associated possibly together. If it doesn't start now, maybe it'll start later. They'll see each other on and off. I believe that. If not, they're going to start being together now as friends. You never know. Two, this also could be a chance for Matt Morgan to have a match with Al Snow. Al Snow, especially when he did the head, everyone loved head. I loved head. Head, yeah baby, head. That just made the crowd jump from 60%, like I said, from the street fight, to near 68 to 70%. It jumped it up. What I think didn't get that much of a jump was the Terra and Tessmacher match. The crowd, by the time after the Joey Ryan and Al Snow, they kind of flattened down a little bit because I think they were exhausted. So the match with them wasn't so bad. It felt a little botchy at first, just a little for me. Anyone else will probably think they did great, which is fine. They did. I felt a little bit of botch the first couple of minutes when it started, but then it got very good at the end. Terra won this, which I said wouldn't be a bad thing. The only question is, will Tessmacher get a rematch? Because usually, like I said in my predictions, like with Velvet Sky, she never got a rematch. But that was with the accursed woman for the man who not be named. So it's cool. There's a good chance she will get a rematch, and maybe that will continue the feud. There's no problem with it. I'm happy that she won. But then when it came to... Dude, I agree with the Sled Daddy. I thought myself that John Morrison was the one they were talking about. It would have been better, at least for me. Anyone else, maybe one of the smart marks, or a lot of the smart marks, would have thought it would have been somebody much better. But getting someone from Big Brother, I don't know the guy named James something, and I don't watch Big Brother, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like that show. It's crap. But essentially, well, at least for me. But essentially, when it came down to him going into the ring, And I understand that he's in OVW from Mr. Parkins. I don't really watch OVW, but I think I'm going to take a little look at it. It actually can maybe do something interesting, particularly that this is an OVW guy, since now TNA owns OVW, unlike WWE, who was stupid enough to get rid of it and then go to FCW. Honestly, we don't know what this is. This could be good for this guy because simply, if he's prominently featured, and if he does have the ability, he has one of the 5 tools. He's got the look, he's got the physique. Now, for me, since I've never seen him before, the question is, are they going to let him get more over while he's with Tara? Is he going to be allowed to talk on the mic? Will he get in the ring? Will we see that he has charisma? Will we see if he got some in-ring presence? Can he tell a story? We won't know this until later if they continue this part with the storyline with basically Tara. So we just don't know. Now, ooh, good googly moogly, baby. We got ourselves Aces and Eights versus Bully Ray and Sting. Now, I wish to say that throughout the night, they had Bully Ray. Once, I liked how he talked with Christy Hemme. When it comes to Bully Ray, he's not a face. Not even close. He's not even a tweener. Not even close. But because he's such a good heel, he kind of can translate to could get popped. Which he did. He's still a heel. He hasn't transitioned to face. At least, there's a good possibility from this, during the match, he might have become a tweener, but I still think he's going to still be a heel. Flat out, I still think he's heel, but it translated enough that he got popped. The match was interesting. I thought that this was going to be a possible tag team match, at least at first, and Bully Ray was going to do the majority of work. But they did fighting outside the ring. They had, almost forgot, the face paint of Bully Ray of the old Sting back in the late 80s, early 90s. Epic. I liked it. And it really made sense the way he was acting. He was like channeling the old Sting in a sense. Not totally, don't get me wrong. He couldn't even match up to the old Sting back in the 80s and 90s for what I've seen when I was younger. But essentially speaking is this. It wasn't a bad outside fight. Inside the match, Sting did a good amount of work. I did enjoy how Sting and Bully Ray worked together. It wasn't bad. But Aces and Eights win. And as the beatdown continues of Aces and Eights, I almost forgot about Joseph Parks. They did show him early in the day being brought in. They did show him getting chained to one of the fences. And Taz, he sold it pretty well, saying, "Damn, can you smell that? Can you actually smell it?" Yes, he's been there for weeks. No, it wasn't Taz who said it. It was Mike Tenay that said, "Can you smell that?" Taz said, "Of course. He hasn't been clean in weeks." And during the match, when Joseph Park got spit in the face by one of Aces and Eights, and he broke that chain, he sold it well. I liked the fight between Joseph Parks and that member Aces and Eights. He kicked his ass. Sweet. Epic. I loved it. Now, I'm thinking that they're going to leave the Abyss character away for a little while. I think they want to try and bring Joseph Parks as a wrestler right now. I think the guy who plays Abyss, I don't know his name. Sorry, I haven't really done that much research on the Abyss and his real name. But I really believe that they want to switch this around. They're letting this guy, who has been known to be a monster heel, switch him out and let him have a more of a human side. In other words, they want him to be face and let him wrestle that way. He could still do all the stuff that the Abyss character did. It's just that he's the good guy side of it. Then, if it came to a point where it begins to get stale, they can always bring the Abyss character back as a split personality kind of thing, and that would make sense. So I really like this. But the thing that gets me, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do, in the description, I'm connecting my Garrett Bischoff video. I've done it maybe once before in one video. I'm doing it again. I said clearly in one part of my video that one of the reasons why the Pope got taken out, because I thought that Garrett Bischoff was, and there's still, we don't know. But saying it like this, I said that maybe because Garrett was getting TV time with Devon, because basically he wasn't getting anywhere, he went after the Pope because that was an enemy of Devon. I said that in my video, even though I did talk pretty choppy, but I said it. But I never imagined that it would be Devon who would be part of Aces and Eights. Oh, damn! And I wish to say that when he did enter the ring, and he was wearing the long sleeve shirt and covering his face, I noticed the walk and said, wait a minute. Damn, wait a minute, that's Devon. I recognize that walk anyway. And I said, wait a minute, no, it can't be Devon. That cannot be Devon. And once the hoaxer came out, after, just like the Slug Daddy said, they had time to get knocked down, and then Devon's mask got pulled off, I couldn't believe it. I believe, and I wish to say clearly that there's still a possibility, and the Slug Daddy said it already, and I'm going to put this on the Off the Rope Show channel. The Slug Daddy said it already, that it would be shocking to think that Garrett Bischoff could be part of Aces and Eights, or part of it as well, with his father or by himself. Because we still got to remember that time with the TV title with Joe. Joe was one of the two people that had that shot. And remember, when it came down to it, the way he looked at Hogan, I am telling you right now, if Devon is not the leader of Aces and Eights, we could be looking at a Garrett Bischoff or Eric Bischoff storyline here. I still say it's an extremely long shot, but if I can say that the Pope was taken out by Garrett because of Devon, and Devon's part of Aces and Eights, it makes some sense. So there's a good chance I could be right about this, ladies and gentlemen, and I said it at least nearly a month ago. So I'll be shocked if I'm right. Now the last match between Hardy and Austin Aries, the greatest man that ever lived, by the time of Aces and Eights, I really felt the people were just exhausted. Because while this was going on, the people, if they didn't cheer or boo, they seemed flat. Because I think they really didn't know what to do with this. They were either exhausted or just confused of who should they root for. By the middle of the match, it was very loud for Aries and very booing for Jeff Hardy. And I thought, wait a minute. Could Hardy actually lose this? I did wish that Hardy would win at Victory Road 2013. The Slug Daddy, I do agree with him that this could be the right time for Jeff Hardy for his full redemption, and I did say in my prediction that he will probably win it. I would have liked to wait until Victory Road. I felt like that would be real redemption. 1 year ago, that would have been like that. But in this case, it's understandable. Hardy wins, and it was a damn good match. And I could tell you, the way the crowd was, it was hard to tell who was going to win, because counting how the crowd, this is what I understand. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But how the crowd dictates who they cheer for and who they boo for, if Hardy was booed majorly by the crowd, I don't think they will let him carry the strap. At least that's how I feel it. Because what happened with last year, Kurt Angle with Robert Roode, the crowd was not behind Robert Roode. I felt that the crowd was just not, there was just not enough with it. And I felt while the match was going on, they made the decision not to give it to him. Because he didn't have the crowd behind him. He didn't have the backing. And by the time this came around, by the time nearing the end, it still also felt the same way. I do agree with the Slug Daddy. They had to have a Bound for Glory winner in this. Just like with Austin Aries and Destination X. He had to win. So this would work. For Jeff Hardy, I know he had to win also, but the crowd was very touch and go at the very last bit of the match. If the crowd was totally booing him, by the time he won that, I think there would have been a really big problem. So when he did win it, and there were boos, but not bad boos, not at least a majority. When Impact comes around this Thursday, I don't think there's going to be very many boos. I think the majority of people will be very happy with Hardy being there. So, how do I feel about this show? A solid B. I have to admit, the Terra Tessmacher match, when it came to the end with this guy that's from OVW, that's a question mark that kind of took a little bit from it. Not much, but just a little bit. The match between Hardy and Aries compared to the tag team triple threat, they're both second place for me. The street fight was the match of the night for me. So I'm very upset that they put it third on the card when they could have put on the third match either the Joey Ryan Al Snow or the Terra Tessmacher match, third on the card. So fifth or sixth could have been the street fight. That could have been it. But honestly, that's how it went down. So I'm giving this a solid B, even though the positioning of the matches in the card was trash. That's why it's not a B+ show. If the positioning was right, this would be a B+ show, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm telling you right now, this show was so epically good. It blows away anything the WWE in the last 4 months have done. Now, I know with the Slick Daddy, he said this felt like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing, which it did feel like that. There were some points, especially with the street fight, because the street fight should have never been there in the third part of the card. Terra and Tessmacher match should have been low on the card. Why would you put the Knockout Championship match, which wasn't that strongly built, so high up on the card? It just didn't feel right. Honestly, it didn't. The Zema Ion and Rob Van Dam match, the Slick Daddy's right. They could have built this up over a 2 or 3 week period. They didn't have to squash Douglas Williams. They didn't. They could have done this with RVD, or if they did have to squash him, RVD could have came out and tried to help him, because they could have said that Douglas Williams and him kind of was friends. So it just kind of felt a little Jekyll and Hyde, but it wasn't as much for me as it was for the Slick Daddy, and I value his opinion. He's one hell of a good reviewer. I give you my respect. So for me, this is a B show. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment, ladies and gentlemen. This show was so good compared to anything that the WWE has been throwing out. The WWE is going to have to do something really good for Hell in a Cell in the next, I think, 3 weeks to even top this. So if they don't, I'm telling you, WWE is getting trashy. So I hope to see you soon, and watch out for my Raw review. Have a good day.